Hello, my dear students. So, as you know, we have already completed the line by line explanation of the entire Julius Caesar. We have also completed the multiple choice questions. So, in today's video, you're going to learn about the various themes in the Julius Caesar play, and also we're going to discuss the character sketch of some of the main characters in this play. This video is relevant for both ICSE 9th as well as the 10th standard students. So first we will start with the themes in the play. So the first theme is tyranny. The entire conspiracy against Caesar started with the conspirators' fear of Caesar becoming a tyrant. Brutus says that an ambitious man uses humility and his supporters to advance himself in the beginning, but when he reaches the top, he turns his back on his supporters and scorns the people who helped him. So he's saying that Caesar might become tyrant once he becomes powerful. Also, Flavius mentioned that Caesar's growing feathers must be plucked, or else he will rise above all and keep us all in a state of fearful servitude. Since Caesar's growing power and might had made him an arrogant, overconfident, and boastful person, when his wife Calpurnia warns him against going to the Senate, he arrogantly says that fear vanishes upon seeing the face of Caesar, and he and danger are two lions that are born on the same day, and Caesar is the elder and the more fierce. So Caesar's behavior was like a dictator and a tyrant according to the conspirators. Therefore, they had decided to assassinate him, and the entire chain of events take place. However, Mark Antony claims otherwise, saying Caesar's refusal for the crown and inclusion of Roman citizens in his will did not make him a tyrant. So if you want, you can pause the video and take down these notes in your notebook. Okay, so the first theme is tyranny. Okay, let's go to the second theme, which is power and ambition. So this theme is also a very prominent theme in this story. Caesar's ambition is shown through his desire for power and arrogance, where he disregards the warning of the soothsayer. He does not pay attention to the consequences of his action. The play shows how the people in power are willing to go to any extent to achieve it. The play also shows how some of the conspirators are hungry for power themselves and for their selfish motive turn against Caesar and assassinate him. So not only was Caesar ambitious, but some of the conspirators were themselves power hungry, and therefore they wanted to kill Caesar. If you see, Mark Antony was loyal to Caesar, he wanted to seek revenge, but he was also hungry for power and control. So the power struggle and war that follows Caesar's murder shows the destructive nature of power and the chaos, loss of lives, and the destruction it causes. The next theme is betrayal. So betrayal is a significant theme in the play, where ambition and greed led to betrayal. The conspirators betray the trust and friendship they had with Caesar, and due to their fear of Caesar turning into a tyrant, they assassinate him. Brutus is particularly torn between the love he has for Caesar and for the love and loyalty towards the greater good of Rome. When Brutus stabs Caesar, the betrayal and hurt is evident in Caesar's words, where he says, "You to Brute," as Brutus was a close friend of Caesar. Mark Antony also betrays the trust of Marcus Brutus. where he promises to be a friend to them and in order to gain their trust says, "If convinced why Caesar deserved to die, Mark Antony shall not love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living." Also, he betrays Brutus's trust by turning the crowd against the conspirators. So there's a lot of betrayal in this play. The next theme is honor and loyalty. So honor is also a very prominent theme in this play, where in the play, no character embodies the virtue of honor like how Brutus does. He is particularly torn between his love for Caesar and his loyalty towards Rome. And after he kills Caesar, he faces a lot of guilt for his actions. Since Brutus felt that Caesar's ambition was posing as a threat, he joins the conspiracy not out of jealousy or for power, or he did not have any personal grudge, but only out of a sense of duty to protect the Roman Republic. However, Cassius misuses Brutus's reputation for honor, as his honor and involvement will legitimate the conspiracy. Even at the end, Brutus retains his honor when Antony says, "All the conspirators have acted out of envy except for Brutus, who acted out of honesty and for the general good of Rome." The characters Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus are loyal towards Caesar, and hence once after his assassination, they seek revenge from the conspirators, which leads to the civil war that was fought. So that is about honor and loyalty. The next theme is fate. So the play shows how fate of people can be predetermined, and sometimes people might not have control over it. Though Julius Caesar was warned by the soothsayer, he chose to ignore it. Even if the priest who had conducted the sacrifice on the beast asked him to stay indoors, and Calpurnia, his wife, was pleading Caesar to stay at home, Caesar paid no heed to these warnings, which led to the downfall and assassination of Caesar. So we can say that it was Caesar's fate to die on the Ides of March, and that is what happened. Caesar declared in a particular scene that it seems strange that men should fear death, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. So Caesar recognizes that certain events in life are beyond the control of humans, and there is no point to fear death constantly. Also, Brutus struggles with his loyalty to Caesar, and for the betterment of Rome, ultimately joins the conspiracy and expresses his remorse for his actions. So remorse means repentance. Okay, suggesting that he is also not entirely in control of his fate. So it was also his fate to join against Caesar and assassinate his most close friend. And this is the last theme, which is the adamant and inflexible nature of some of the characters. So both Brutus and Caesar are seen to be stubborn, which leads to both of them suffering fatally for it. Brutus's honorable ideals make him vulnerable to be manipulated by Cassius against Caesar. So Brutus also is against taking an oath, paying no heed to the warnings of Cassius that Mark Antony should also be killed along with Caesar, and then in the later time not to allow Antony to talk in Caesar's funeral. Furthermore, Brutus also went against Cassius's opinion and decided to march to Philippi rather than the enemy seeking them. Thus, all these events transpired due to Brutus's inflexible nature to not listen to Cassius. On the other hand, Caesar believes to be invincible and refuses to heed ill omens and goes to the capital into the hands of the conspirators. So even because Caesar was adamant and he did not pay heed to others' warnings, he also had to die. There is another prominent theme, which is violence. So the play shows how violence can beget more violence. So after the assassination of Caesar, there's more violence where they seek revenge against Caesar's assassination, which leads to the civil war. Also, because of violence, there's a lot of psychological consequences to the characters, where Brutus is racked with guilt over murdering Caesar and he's unable to find any peace in his mind. So therefore, violence can have a very long lasting consequences for not only for an individual but also in the entire society. Okay, so since we have completed the themes of the play, let's go towards the character sketches. So we are going to listen to the character sketch of some main characters like Julius Caesar, Marcus Brutus, Mark Antony, Caius Cassius, Portia and Calpurnia. So first is the main character, Julius Caesar. So the entire play in itself is known by the name Julius Caesar because he's a prominent figure in this entire play. Though Julius Caesar is present in very few scenes, this play wouldn't even exist without him. Because the central plot of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar is Caesar's planning of the assassination, its execution, and then the other events that happen because of the execution. So let's go towards the character sketch of Julius Caesar. So Julius Caesar is a powerful and ambitious Roman general. In the play, he is portrayed as firm, overconfident, arrogant, fearless, and also superstitious. His growing power and ambition make him into an arrogant, vain, and a pompous person. When he was warned against going out, he boastfully and arrogantly ascertains that all fear and danger vanishes at his presence. Moreover, he calls himself to be firm, but in reality he is inconsistent. He decides to stay indoors, but when he was flattered, which he says he doesn't get influenced by, is easily persuaded to go to the capital. Caesar is also portrayed to be a good judge of character, where he rightly judges Cassius's personality and his ultimate motives. He is also superstitious in nature. For instance, he asks Mark Antony to touch Calpurnia as it is believed to lift the curse of barren women and it will help them to conceive. Furthermore, he also believes in animal sacrifice. Caesar suffers from various ailments where he is deaf in one ear, he suffers from epileptic fits and is also a poor swimmer. But despite all his weaknesses, Caesar displays a towering personality and a gigantic stature. So this is the character sketch of Julius Caesar. Now let's listen about Marcus Brutus. So Marcus Brutus is a dynamic and a noble character. He is a close friend and confidant of Caesar. However, his ideals and duty towards Rome ultimately makes him join the conspiracy to assassinate Caesar. He is not only a noble and an honorable person, but he is also a good husband and a kind master to his servants. He is also known for his oratory skills, where he is able to deliver a powerful and a convincing speech to justify his actions to kill Caesar to the public, and he was successful in convincing the crowd. Throughout, he is portrayed to be deeply conflicted and torn between his love for Caesar and his belief for the greater good of Rome. His decisions and actions support his reputation to be honorable and his good virtues. Brutus at the end is considered as a tragic hero, a man who possesses great qualities but is brought down by his flaws of being adamant and not paying heed to the warnings by Cassius, and due to his rigid idealisms ends up making numerous mistakes, like not taking an oath because he said that We should trust Romans' word rather than taking an oath, and so on, which I have already explained in the scenes. So after Marcus Brutus, we will look at the character sketch of Mark Antony. So Mark Antony also plays a pivotal role in the play, where initially he is portrayed as a reveler who enjoys partying, sports, and leads a wild life with women. However, as the play progresses, it is evident that he is a very loyal and trusted friend of Caesar, who is deeply committed to avenge Caesar's death and also to restore his legacy. If you see his skills, he is a very skilled politician and possesses great oratory skills, who through his speech sways the opinion of the fickle-minded people in the crowd. He is not only driven by his loyalty towards Caesar, but he also is driven by his own ambition for power. So he is also power hungry. He possesses traits such as great intelligence, where he is able to strategically think about how to gain power and control after Caesar's death. Antony is a shrewd contriver who manipulates Brutus by pretending to offer his hand of friendship only to betray them later. So we have completed Mark Antony. Now the next is Caius Cassius. So Caius Cassius plays an integral role in the play as he's the spearhead behind the conspiracy against Caesar. He is found to be cunning, crafty, deceitful, and also envious. We know that he was envious of Caesar's fame. He is resilient because he does not give up. He kept trying his ways to bring Brutus into the conspiracy and did not stop until that was possible. And also quick to suspect betrayal, because he was the person who did not trust Mark Antony and wanted him to be killed along with Caesar. He is jealous of Caesar as he believes that Caesar possesses no special trait that makes him so powerful to be worshipped and revered by the people of Rome. Therefore, he incites Brutus against Caesar through manipulation and telling him that there is no special trait in Caesar and he is just a normal person like him and Brutus. Cassius's ambition to kill Caesar is fueled by his own ambition and his jealousy against Caesar, unlike Brutus. Cassius is motivated by self-interest rather than the general good of the Roman Republic. In spite of his weaknesses, he possesses certain noble traits, like his love for his friends is genuine and sincere. His practical suggestions are overruled by Brutus umpteen number of times in the play, but he lets him overrule every decision. And he respects Brutus for what he says. So we are done with the male characters. Now let's go towards the female character, who is Portia. So Portia is the daughter of Cato and the loving wife of Brutus. She is portrayed as a devoted and faithful wife who is deeply affected by her husband's worries, and she wants to share the burden of grief that weighs Brutus down. She is a very powerful character, and not only is she a high-born noble, she is also tender, loving, compassionate, and also a keen observer, because she was able to observe that there was something troubling Brutus. She is a self-assured woman, and to prove her strength and endurance, to keep secrets concealed, she voluntarily stabs her thigh. This shows that she is a woman of great determination too. So after Portia, we know the next person is definitely going to be Calpurnia, who is Caesar's wife. So Calpurnia is the loving and devoted wife of Julius Caesar. She is deeply concerned about the well-being of her husband. She is superstitious and believes in bad omens and signs. After her dream of Caesar being assassinated, she does not mind to be labeled as a coward as long as her husband is safe. So she begs him to stay at home, and she possesses instinctive urges to protect her husband. She's the only character who is momentarily even able to convince and prevent Caesar from stepping out. So the two female character, which is Calpurnia and Portia, both are really strong women and very loving wives. So we have completed the theme as well as the character sketches of the main characters. I hope you found this video helpful for your studies. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Share it among your friends so they can also gain from it. And I'm praying for each one of you. I know you're going to do your best, and God will definitely bless you and bestow you with your fruits of hard work. Bye-bye.